Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, The Nostalgic Dragon. Welcome everyone who are regular visitors and those who are new. Talking about fantasy, sci-fi and mythology in books, video games and board games. Today an update on what I'm doing. I will talk about The Witcher Saga, Blood of Elves. I will talk about the Gene Wolfe's sci-fi, The Book of the New Sun, my reflections so far initially. I will also tell you a bit about where I am in the Suneater series and then go through some of the games I'm playing right now. It's Witcher 3 and it's Pillars of Eternity and it's Tides of Numeria, which I will talk a little bit more on. So please have patience and wait until the end because I think that game is very interesting, especially if you like the Book of the New Sun, if you like Malazan, Steven Erickson, for example. I think Tides of Numenera is a very interesting game for you if you haven't heard about it before. So first of all, I have the Blood of Elves, which I finished yesterday. This is the third book of the Witcher books. The first ones are The Last Wish and The Sword of Destiny, two short story collections, and this is the first one in the Witcher saga, which predates the or is before the video games as well. The Witcher 1, 2, and 3. I suppose I've only got hold of Witcher 2 and 3. If you've heard me before about the short stories, you know that I really liked short stories. I thought they were, very tight stories. They were entertaining. There was a lot of lore without, being lore dumps in the story, and you got an idea of many characters in Witcher, like of course Geralt, but Ciri, Yennefer, Dandelion, for example, Triss Merigold. A lot of characters that you can find in the video games, for example. When it comes to this book, I haven't really, landed in my thoughts yet, but what I can say is that the tempo is of course lower because it's the beginning of a saga, so you don't have this, very effective storytelling. There is more of longer sections with where you get to know people. Example, especially Ciri and also Yennefer, the sorcerer. There are other characters like Shani and also Triss Merigold in here. You also get to know a bit about the elves and the dwarves and the myth surrounding them. Still, I think the mythology in the Witch Saga is very real, you could say. It doesn't feel like this fantasy like Lord of the Rings, of course. Even though Andrei Sapkowski is very inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien. It feels more down to earth, more closer to our real world. However, there is a lot of mystery here, of course. I would say it's a bit less humorous, and um, it's obviously a book that is preparing us for the rest of the saga. So I've just started to read the second book, that is the Time of Contempt, and but I will wait a bit to continue reading that because I read three Witcher books in a row now, and I want to continue on with other books. Recommend it, but a bit curious where this will take me further in the readings. I'm curious on book two. I hope the tempo actually goes up a little bit because I thought this was more of a foreshadowing, you say, right, for the second book. You will find a lot of things here. There is some lore, of course, not about the Wild Hunt, for example. There is a lot of politics and negotiation going on between the different kingdoms, you could say. And it's also a coming of age story, it seems to be, with Ciri. I will get to know her. She's very young here. I haven't read the other books or don't know so much about Witcher, so maybe you know more than I do, but it seems like a coming of age story here. And actually, not so much Geralt. He's there, he's in the background, in some sections, he's the main character, but basically, it's Ciri and Yennefer, which are the focus of this first book. So looking forward to continue to read that, and then I'll, as I said, continue to read the Time of Contempt. Sorry for diving into the ground here when I have to catch the books. I'm making changes in this room. I was supposed to be finished today. It didn't happen, so it looks like a mess. Actually, if you can't see that on camera, obviously, but I will try to make it more nice for you when you watch the videos as well. So, and then I have the Book of the New Sun. I know many of you follow the channel are curious on my thoughts on this book. I just started. For those not knowing what it's about, it's very, very famous in sci-fi and I would say fantasy, among fantasy readers as well. But this is about Severian. He's a torturer's apprentice. He is exiled from his guild after falling in love with one of his prisoners, and is armed with his ancient executioner's sword, Terminus Est. And with that, Severian must make his way across the perilous, ruined landscape of this far future called Earth or Earth. Sounds like Earth, right? But it's probably Earth. So I just started, and I know this book can be difficult to get grasp of. I was recommended this by one follower who also read a lot of Steven Erikson. I don't know if they are similar or not. I can see that there is a lot of, show don't tell, and that is not so much exposition, explaining things. So I'm just in the beginning of the book with Severian, and he's in a citadel, and I think he's something called a journeyman, and the story has happened. I know that Christopher Rucchio in the Suneater series is a bit inspired by Gene Wolfe, maybe a lot. It's Gene Wolfe and it's Dune. Let's see about Suneater, where it goes in relation to Gene Wolfe. Obviously, this is more of introspection, philosophical, and spiritual. And I think Rucchio's books are more entertaining still. They are very spiritual too, but I suppose this seems to be another way for me. Severian is now has been in a library, so I don't want to spoil anything if you want to read the book, and he's trying to get hold of books to a few books to one of the prisoners. And one thing I thought was very interesting yesterday when I was reading is that there are a few things to ponder upon, obviously, in this book. There were two things I was noticing, and this is in the, so you know, so I don't spoil things for you. It's in the chapter 6, The Master of the Curators. And he's in a library, and they talk about it's a book, Wonders of Earth and Sky. And this book relates to a familiar legends of ancient times. And it's a reflection here that it's interesting that historians, which tells of a time in which every legend could be traced to half-forgotten facts. And there is a paradox here. We are asked as a reader, I assume, did that legend itself exist at that time? And if not, how came it into existence? So I can really see there an interesting philosophical question to ponder upon throughout the book, I suppose. And then there are another question to us. It's about two persons robbing a grave. This is how it goes. Tell me this, but tell me this. Suppose two collaborate in the robbing of a grave, and one takes the right hand for his share and the other the left. Does he who ate the right hand have but half the dead man's life, or the other the rest? And if so, what if a third were to come and devour a foot? So you can rewind this if you want to listen to it more in detail. He's questioned if, Severin is questioned if he is a torturer or if he is a philosopher. So it triggers me and it touches upon my, curiosity. So great advice. I'll continue to read it. I will probably focus on these kind of questions when I talk more about the book later. That's with books. Also, I'm in Kingdoms of Death by Christopher Rucchio, and that's the fourth book in the Suneater series. I started to read it, enjoy it, but I was a bit overwhelmed by the start because it's very action-packed, and actually Rucchio's a bit known for having very intense action scenes, but also a bit of a very slow paragraphs in the middle of the book. Now, I thought I was expecting something slower, and then it was, really action-packed. So I will try to go back to that. I'm feeling a bit more philosophical probably at the moment, so I was a bit surprised with all the shooting, so to speak. When it comes to games, I'm playing the Pillars of Eternity. This is the, let's see if you can see this good. Probably I have too strong lighting. Please tell me if the lighting is too strong, so I will try to lower it. I'm working my way through my new camera here, learning things. This is Pillars. I think it's too bright actually. So let's do it. Sorry. Yeah, this is better. So this is Deadfire. This second game, Pillars of Eternity. The first game is marvelous. Also Deadfire. Working with the lore, understanding more about the Pantheon and also about the world itself and the characters and their backstories. I think the backstories of Eder, for example, and Aloth, for example, are great. I think this is a really, really great game, especially if you're tired of, you've read so many fantasy books, you want to do something different. Please play Pillars of Eternity. It's a great game. I have ideas for the channel, as you know, so I hope to make some Pillars videos this month and next month as well. So life is a bit hectic at the moment, so the channel has been, maybe slower, in a slow tempo than in especially July when I was free and could do a lot of things. Then we have The Witcher, nothing new for you, and the game is great. I'm on a detour, you could say. I'm actually just discovering the map at the moment, like last update. I think that was the same. I think the atmosphere in the game with the sound, you can meet people on the road. They have their own stories. They seem to do other things. It's very much alive, the Witcher world. So I've been a bit caught off guard, or I'm not following the main quest at the moment, actually. And I was advised to play this at hard level by a friend, actually, and to really immerse myself into the game. Do you do that? You can't read. You can read a book advanced, but it's not different levels. Basically, it can be, I suppose. But if you play games like this, do you play at the most difficult level of the game, or do you play maybe in the story mode or something just to enjoy the story? I'm curious to hear about that. And then I've started the Tides of Numeria, and that is a very interesting game that I want to talk to you about. I'm going to add a few pictures for you. First of all, the artwork in this game is beautiful. It's a game from 2017. It's said to be a spiritual successor to Planescape Torment. I haven't played that game. I think that's from 1999, yeah. And this game was a disappointment, I heard from many, but for me it's very good so far. It's sci-fi and fantasy. It's really a world where I'm confused because I don't really feel I know the setting. I don't know, like Lord of the Rings or Pillars of Eternity or The Witcher. I feel familiar in that kind of fantasy world. You also have sci-fi worlds like Warhammer 40K, for example, which also are worlds that I feel at home in and understand the logic and the terms, definitions of things. But here in this Tides of Numeria, I feel I'm lost. And actually, that's good because you play a cast off, it's called. Someone who's cast off from a changing god. It's called a changing god. So I'm about 15 hours into the game. Feel still a lot of lost in this. It's a great companions. You have very beautiful art style in the game. It's a CRPG, so it's isometric. So you see everything from above, and you have companions, of course, who have interesting backstories. It's extremely text heavy, but in a good way if you like books. So actually, if you haven't played a CRPG and you like books, I would recommend this game. And you see in the picture here, this is a one of the artwork styles, you could say. And here's another one. This is not. This is the when you come to different sections of the game. There is like in Pillars of Eternity, it's text based. So you get this picture and you have text beside. So it looks like this then. So you have the text here, and then you have the picture to the right of the text here, or to the left, depending on how it looks on your screen. And then you have these pictures. You're cast off, you try to create your identity. You don't know who you are, you don't know what you are doing there. Obviously, other people you meet seem to know a lot more about you. So far, I met different church, religious orders or churches, maybe. Everyone I meet seems to have a different purpose of life and different ideas of what I should do in the game, so I have to decide on what to do. I think it's a little bit like Disco Elysium in that way, if you play that, which is a totally different game in a way, because you're a detective, police officer, detective who has lost memory, but actually that's similar to this game because you have lost your memory, it seems like, you can't really recall things. And I've understood so far there is some kind of war going on in this world, and people urge me to choose sides. And also, one place in the Sagus Cliff is the first city I'm in. It looks really interesting, Sagus Cliff. If you can Google it up and look in the photo. And yeah, so a person I met wanted me to recruit people to the cause of the war. I haven't done that yet because I want to really feel what is the right choice for me. It seems like high replayability. It's a bookish game. It's a philosophical game. I listened to the developer interview, and basically said it's about what is the meaning of life. So that's kind of a deep thing for a video game, but it seems like this game actually can nail that idea, and then it has more to do with Camus, for example, or maybe nihilism. There are different philosophical schools there, I suppose. So it will be interesting to explore, and maybe if you're interested to talk more about that game. So that is a few things which I'm doing right now, and please react on the video if you thought something was interesting and you want me to talk more about that. I have a few things going on. If you haven't watched it, I talked to the contemplative reader, Reverend Jay, last week. Please check that video out if you're interested. I'm also planning on more streams with fellow booktubers, and Nikhil on Esteem, for example. We're trying to find a time. So he's a booktuber and also a composer of fantasy music. So I think that's an interesting take on fantasy, the music part. So I would like to talk to him about that. So it's Sunday here in Sweden afternoon. So this is early recording, for being me. I hope you have a nice day. It's autumn here. I hope it's warmer wherever you are. See you. Bye. Thanks.